Hi, I'm Beth and my channel is all about my debt-free journey, and today is one of my favorite videos I make. It is my goal video for the month, and for this month I have my goals for December. So I'm going to do my mental challenge first, and then I will show you my goals for the month of December, and then I will go into my budget and explain how I did with my money last week and what I'm hopefully going to do next week. So for today's mental challenge, I wanted to kind of keep it more focused on goals, since we're hopefully all gearing up for new goals for the year 2021. I thought this might help motivate you with getting your goals ready for the new year. So for my mental challenge, I'm going to do things a little differently. I'm not in front of the camera, so if you guys don't like it this way, you can just let me know. But for this mental challenge, we're going to look at a study done by Dr. Gail Matthews. She took a group of 267 people and she made sure that they had various different backgrounds. This study was done on goal setting. She separated these 267 people into 5 separate groups. All of the groups had one thing in common. They had to decide on a specific goal. They didn't write this goal down, they just had to think about this goal. They had to think about how difficult this goal was, how important this goal was to them, if they had the skill set to achieve this goal, if they had the resources necessary to achieve this goal, and their level of commitment to achieving this goal. You know what? I don't know if I spelled commitment right, so if I didn't, I'm sorry. I just realized that looking at that, it looked a little odd. I'm looking at it from upside down though, so that may be it. But anyway, you know what I'm getting at. So after all the 5 groups had to think of these things on that specific goal, then they had things a little differently. Group number 1 did just that. They didn't write anything down. They just thought of the goal and the different things she told them to think about. Group number 2 had to actually write their goal down physically on a piece of paper. Group number 3 had to write down their goal and write down action steps to achieve that goal. Group number 4 had to write down the goal, the action steps, and make a commitment to a friend. Group number 5 had to do all of the above, writing down the goal, the action steps, the commitment to the friend, and they also then had to send their friend weekly progress reports of how they were doing on meeting this goal. So these were the 5 different groups and what she was looking at in the study. Group 1, just thinking about their goal, had 43% of success of achieving that goal, based on people who didn't have any goals at all that they thought about with those things. So they just said, hey, I want to do this, but they didn't think about anything. This group 1 had 43% more chance of achieving them. Each time they increased, that group 2 had more chance of achieving, all the way down to group 5. If you did all the steps, including the progress reports to a friend, you had a 76% chance more of achieving your goals. So to me, that lets me know that this YouTube channel that I'm doing, and a lot of other people, I see you guys doing them too, where we talk about our goals, where we show ourselves writing down our goals and kind of going through the action steps, how we're going to meet them. We're increasing our chance of meeting our goals just by having this YouTube channel and sharing it with our friends and updating each other. So for next year, when we're looking at setting these goals for 2021, maybe this will help motivate those of you who are not doing goals, or those of us who are, just kind of help reassure that we are doing the right thing by sharing these and talking about them. So is that 33% increased chance of meeting a goal worth telling people, worth writing it down, worth giving updates, and worth all these action steps? And for me, it definitely is. So I'm going to continue on sharing my goals with you guys and talking to you about them. And I hope you guys think about that too. And for my physical challenge, I'm just going to go into a little bit different of a detail. They did MRI scans of your brain while you were writing versus typing, And they found that the writing activates different regions of the brain than whenever you're just typing. Your brain actually engages more when you write as compared to when you do typing. And it's actually, there's a term for it, it's actually called encoding. And so it actually kind of helps your brain a little bit more with that. So for the physical challenge, I suggest that we all write down our goals instead of just typing or entering them in a spreadsheet or on your phone or anything like that, because it does matter. For scientists, they say it does light up different parts of the brain. You do put greater importance on it whenever you write. So just consider for 2021 your financial goals. Consider writing them down instead of just typing them out and see if it kind of helps you meet those goals a little bit better. So that is our physical and mental challenges for this week. It's all about goal setting. So now we're going to just jump right in to my goals for the month of December. Let me make sure I get this all good and organized there. Okay, so for the month of December, my goals, and I'm going to jump over here real quick and show you something. My word for the month is align. I put it on my calendar so I would see it more frequently, but just so you know, my word for the month of December is align. I want to align myself with goals and helping myself get ready for this new year. So December is a chance for me to just kind of regroup and regather and get focused on ending this year the way I want to. My first goal is pretty simple. I want to get my bills, my monthly bills, under $2,400 every month. The reason why I want to do this is because lower bills equals more money that I can put towards getting rid of debt, and that is the main thing I'm focused on right now. My action steps, I'm going to cancel electric in a house I have. I have a rental home that no one's using. It's just sitting there, but we do kind of use it for storage or things like that, but I have electricity in it. Yes, electricity is not a lot because no one's over there, but I could still save a couple dollars if I do that. I also want to check on lowering my car insurance. We're not driving much because of the pandemic. My husband and daughter are actually working from home, and so I'm wondering if I can call and talk to them about that, if we can lower that insurance bill a little bit. And also I'm thinking about getting rid of one of the streaming channels I have. We have 3, Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus. I'm sure I can get rid of one of those and hopefully get my bills under $2,400. Second goal for this month is to get my car under $20,000. Currently, this is the biggest debt I have. It is just a little bit over $20,000, so I really think I can do this. The closer I get to lowering this bill, the quicker I'll be getting debt free. I really will just need an extra $100 or so once I pay my regular minimum payment for the month of December, so I really think I can do that. Third goal for the month of December is kind of, I don't know, a little ironic, but I have a goal to make more goals. So the third goal is to make 2021 financial goals. That may sound a little nerdy, but I kind of like goals. So I'm going to focus on writing down all the goals that I want to achieve in 2021. As much as I love goals, you would think I would have had a lot of them for 2020 financially, but I didn't. Because I wasn't focused on getting debt free. I just kind of had a blanket one in 2020, like, oh, let's pay off debt. And it wasn't specific. So this year I really want to focus on writing specific goals to help me with 2021. And the last goal that I'm focused on for December is I want to make new debt tracking charts. I had kind of quit using my other ones. They just kind of weren't meeting the needs I had. And so I want to make better ones so that I can track my debt better and my progress better mainly. So these are the 4 goals. I did kind of keep my goals a little bit easier this month because December is a hectic month and I didn't want to put too much pressure on myself. So I still made goals, but they are a little bit lighter than my usual goals. But you will see me each week updating you on my goals because I know that by me telling you these goals and my action steps and my progress, that'll help me meet them. And that's why I have this channel. I want that accountability. So there's my goal. So let's look at my budget for this week. When we flip over, I decided to change up a little bit of how I do my tracking. I don't usually do it this way, but I hope this helps me be a little more streamlined. You can let me know if you think this will help or hurt or any flaws you see in this. So for this first week, you can see I ended up putting gas in my car on Wednesday, and you can see I had 2 grocery expenses on Thursday. For the first time in a month, I am actually under budget in my groceries, so I'm super excited about that. I've been under budget in gas for a while, but I'm really glad about the groceries. If we come over here, we can see my total for my grocery bill was $131. I budget $150 every week, so I am so thrilled with that. For gas, I actually budget $40 a month, and I definitely came under in that one. So each week I will hopefully remember and not mess up and write down the expenses for that week. And I'm just tracking gas and groceries in this. If I have it unbudgeted, I might put it in there to explain that. But hopefully this will help me be better at being accountable and help me keep better records of my weekly check-in expenses. So just a quick overview of my budget for this week. It's not going to change any. This is going to be week 2 for December for me. I'm going to have $1,200 in income. I'm going to take my $700 and put them in a separate account for my bills. This separate account for my bills is working out so good. I love being a month ahead on my bills, and I love everything coming out automatically of a separate account. I'm no longer waiting for things to clear or stressing about it or making sure I don't miss anything. It's just a weight off my shoulders and helps me be more like minimalist with my budgeting plan. Sinking funds, I'm again putting $300 this week into my sinking funds, and I'm keeping out $200 for variable. That is my gas and groceries. Nothing's changed, very simple there. Let's look and see what cleared for my December bills already, and you can see I've had 3 bills clear, and that is from that separate checking account. It was my car payment, actually both of my car payments cleared, and Disney Plus cleared. So the first week's always kind of a slower week. We should see a lot more coming through next week or this coming week with all the bills coming through. So that's how my bills are looking. And let's just jump in to my week 2. Now, this is my daily schedule, and I usually write down all of my meals, but you can see I really didn't. I'm keeping things a little more simple this week with meals, and probably for the entire month of December. December's a busy month, as we all know. Even though we're not doing a lot of things because of the pandemic, my family chooses to watch a Christmas movie every evening as a family, so that takes up some time in the evenings. Also, I'm a little behind on sewing Christmas gifts, so I'm trying to steal more time away to complete those. So between a movie and sewing every evening, I really don't want to spend a lot of time in the kitchen cooking. I want to be with my family or doing things I want to do. So Mondays we always do leftovers. On Sunday, I cook double, so I don't have to cook on Monday just because Mondays are hectic. On Tuesday, I'm just going to do a simple meal of baked fish and veggies. And by the way, I'm filming this on Sunday, so you guys are watching it on Wednesday, but I will have already had the baked fish and veggies by then. But Wednesday, we'll do just chicken and veggies, another simple meal. So very simple meals. And then I'm going to show you 2 of the meals that I'll probably be doing some point in the week in my recipe book that I've been making, just so you can kind of see that breakdown there. So let me get that. I have it marked here. Okay, so this is the first meal that I want to talk about. I make this pizza crust probably every week. It is a very simple pizza crust. It is very cheap to make, and it is so versatile. So I kind of want to explain to you a little bit about it. I use 4.5 cups of flour, 1 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon, oh, sorry, that's yeast. I put that in wrong. I just now saw that. That is yeast. It's a typo. 1/4 cup olive oil, and 1 3/4 cup of water, and the water has to be ice cold. So the way I do this is I mix this up in my KitchenAid mixer. I start from the bottom and work my way up. The first thing I do is I put 1 3/4 cup of water into my mixing bowl and 1/4 cup of oil. Then I stick that in my freezer for 10 to 15 minutes. There's been times that I've even forgotten it and even had like ice starting to form on the top. That is okay. You want this mixture to be as cold as possible because you don't want the yeast to start rising yet. So don't worry about that, but get it as cold as you can. When I take it out of the freezer and it's really cold, then I add my 1 teaspoon of yeast, my 1 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and my flour. I add all the flour in at one time and then I start mixing in my mixer. If you're good at making bread, the way this recipe will end out, it'll be a softer dough and it will clear the sides of the bowl but still cling to the bottom. What I mean is after all your flour is incorporated, there should not be any dough sticking to the sides of your mixer whenever it goes around, but you will see the dough sticking to the bottom of your mixer. If you see it clinging to the sides, add more water. Do not add a lot of water all at once. Just add a couple, like a tablespoon at a time. A tablespoon of flour at a time if it is sticking to the sides. So if the dough is sticking to the sides of your mixer, add a little bit of flour at a time. If it is too dry, you could always add a little bit of water, but with this recipe, it really shouldn't be too dry. Usually I just need to add a little flour occasionally on that. If you have any questions, because I know I explained that a little awkwardly, just let me know and I'll answer. I love making dough, and so this one is one I really hope you guys do try to make because it's just so simple and good. You can see there's no sugar in it, and that was something I wanted to. I didn't want sugar in my dough. I feel like we have so much sugar in our diets. I want to kind of eliminate it from my pizza crust. Anyway, after you get the pizza crust to where it is clearing the sides of the bowl, but still at the bottom, you're done. You turn it off. And then what you're going to do is I usually put the entire mixer in my fridge. If it's too much room, you could put it in a separate container with a lid. But all I do is I put a dish towel and a regular kitchen plate over the mixer and I stick it in my refrigerator overnight. You can keep this in your refrigerator for up to 3 days. I wouldn't recommend that because the top would probably dry out. But I usually do at least overnight. Or even a day or two. You could freeze this also. You could freeze it for up to 3 months, and I have done that before too. So after you put it in the fridge and the next day when you wake up, go ahead and take it out of your refrigerator, set it on your counter. You're going to want to give it at least 4 hours to start rising and coming up to temperature. You'll want to check and see when it's doubled in size. If your house is a little bit cooler than some, you could even like try to warm it up a little in the oven, not like have your oven baking it, but just put your oven on warm for a few minutes and then put it in there for just a little bit of time to get it to rise quicker. But this dough will rise about halfway and that's when it's ready to use. It is a stickier dough. So what I do with this is I use it for my pizzas or my pepperoni rolls or anything like that. I make pepperoni rolls, probably get about 16 out of this, or I can get 2 pizzas out of this. I know it took a little bit of time explaining that, so I'm sorry, but anyway, it's a good pizza crust. I'm kind of passionate about the pizza crust, so try this pizza crust and let me know what you think about it for sure. The other meal I'm making this week is my Swedish meatballs. What I do with this one is I make it in a big batch of it. I am gone from my home probably about 9 hours a day. Like I said, in the evenings we have things planned. I like to make meals that I can kind of prep ahead and save me some energy. So this recipe is one of them. I do a lot of recipes with ground beef where I kind of get the ground beef and mix up several different seasonings. I do this with my meatballs for spaghetti. I do this with regular meatloaves, my Swedish meatballs, even like tacos. If I'm going to do that, I will almost always get the 3-pound roll of ground beef at my local store. It's always about $10 unless they put it on sale. So I do that and make 3 different meals for one time. So The way you do this is you start with one sleeve, and I use Ritz crackers. You could use generic. I just crush them right in their little plastic sleeve, and I dump it in the bowl. Then I add 2 packs of onion soup mix to that bowl. Put in 3 eggs and a little bit of milk, and I mix that all together. Then I add my 3 pounds of ground beef, and I mix that. I use a cookie scooper, and I scoop out each individual meatball with that cookie scooper and put it on my baking sheet, and I bake it at about 350 degrees, 400, whatever you feel you want to do. No, it doesn't matter on that one. After the meatballs are finished cooking, I divide them into 3. 2 sets of those I put in a silicone reusable bag and put it in my freezer. I either put beef broth on those to seal them up, or I just put them in the freezer without anything. They're going to be fine either way, whatever you want. The reason why sometimes I freeze them with beef broth is because I use broth in this recipe, and sometimes I have extra and I don't want to waste it. That's the only reason. It doesn't make a difference. So to the other third, because I've already froze the first 2, the other third of that meatball recipe, I throw immediately in the crock pot. I put 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup. I put 1 pack of brown gravy, and I mix that all together and add a little bit of beef broth. I don't measure that. I just make it to where it's kind of a thinner gravy-like texture, and then that's the way I do it. I let that cook on low for a couple hours. Pour it over pasta, and that is my Swedish meatballs. It's very simple. It's very easy. It's about $7 for 4 servings of those Swedish meatballs. And then you have your other ones already froze for a later day. I usually do it once or twice a month. I'll eat this recipe so you don't get burnout on it. But I'm going to show you, or I guess not show you, more tell you and explain to you how I do that. And this is one way that I kind of make cooking easier for myself. So on a weekend, this isn't hard to do because it's already in the crock pot, and all I do is come home and make my pasta and we're good to go. So I know I went a little bit over explaining this food stuff, but the grocery savings is the main way I'm trying to save money with my budget, because like I've told you, I don't have a lot of room right now for other things. So if I keep that grocery budget down by focusing on my meal planning, it's going to kind of help me get to be better where I want to be. So sorry if this video went a little long and everything. And I hope you guys are working on your goals for December. And if you have them, let me know what they are below, what kind of December goals you're working towards. And I hope you guys are having a good December and getting all into your Christmas spirit. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next Wednesday. Thank you.